So, you've probably heard this before. Women say they want a nice guy, a man who is kind, respectful, supportive, loyal, someone who listens, someone who cares, someone who treats her better than everyone else. But then something confusing happens. You meet a woman, you treat her well, you listen to her problems, you give her attention, you try to make her feel special, and suddenly, something changes. Her replies get shorter. She stops texting as much. She cancels plans. And eventually she says something like, "You're such a nice guy, but I just don't feel the spark." And you're left sitting there wondering, what just happened? What did I do wrong? Why does it seem like being nice isn't enough? Today we're going to talk about something that many men struggle to understand. Why women sometimes lose attraction for nice guys. And more importantly, what many men misunderstand about attraction in the first place. Because the truth is, being kind isn't the problem. Kindness, empathy, and respect are important qualities in any healthy relationship. But the issue often appears when kindness turns into something else. Something that quietly changes the dynamic between two people. A lot of men who describe themselves as nice guys are not just being kind. They're being nice because they hope it will lead to approval. They believe that if they support her enough, compliment her enough, help her enough, eventually she'll realize how great they are and choose them. So they become extremely agreeable. They never challenge her opinions. They constantly try to impress her. They go out of their way to make everything easier for her. But attraction doesn't operate like a reward system. You can't earn it through favors, attention, or constant agreement. And when kindness becomes a strategy instead of a genuine expression of character, people can sense it. Sometimes it's not even conscious. But emotionally, something feels off. Instead of feeling natural, the interaction starts to feel like someone is trying too hard to be liked. And when someone seems desperate for approval, attraction often begins to fade. Another important factor is confidence. Confidence plays a huge role in how people perceive each other in romantic situations. A confident person generally doesn't constantly seek reassurance. They don't panic if a message takes a while to be answered. They don't overanalyze every small interaction. But many men who identify as nice guys often struggle with this. They might send multiple messages if she hasn't replied yet. They might apologize for things that don't require an apology. They might constantly worry about whether she still likes them. And even though these behaviors come from good intentions, they can signal insecurity. Confidence is attractive because it communicates emotional stability. It shows that someone values themselves and isn't completely dependent on another person's approval. When a man places a woman on a pedestal, acting as if she is far more valuable than he is, the balance between them changes. Instead of feeling like two people getting to know each other, it starts to feel like one person trying to prove they are worthy of the other. And attraction rarely thrives in that kind of dynamic. Another pattern that often appears is being too available. At first, this might sound strange, because availability seems like a positive thing. After all, shouldn't you make time for someone you like? Of course. But there's a difference between making time and rearranging your entire life around someone. Some men drop everything for the woman they're interested in. They reply instantly every single time. They cancel plans with friends. They abandon hobbies. They make themselves constantly accessible. While it might feel like devotion, it can sometimes send a different message. It suggests that this person suddenly became the center of your world. Healthy attraction usually grows when two individuals both have full lives. They have goals, friends, passions, responsibilities. They bring those experiences into the relationship. But when someone quickly abandons their own life just to focus on another person, the relationship can begin to feel unbalanced. Instead of seeing someone with purpose and direction, the other person might feel like they're being placed on a pedestal. And oddly enough, That level of constant availability can make attraction fade. There's also another element that many people overlook: emotional stimulation. Attraction isn't only about comfort and safety, it also involves energy, personality, and interaction. Many nice guys try very hard to avoid any kind of tension. They never tease, they never disagree, they never challenge anything she says. Their goal is to keep everything perfectly smooth and agreeable. But when every conversation becomes completely predictable, something important disappears. There's no playful tension, no personality, no spark. Healthy relationships usually include small moments of challenge, playful teasing, different opinions, friendly debates about ideas. These interactions create emotional movement between two people. But when someone is constantly trying to be perfectly agreeable, they sometimes remove that dynamic completely. Everything becomes polite, safe, and calm. But sometimes, it also becomes flat. Another common pattern is overinvesting too early in the relationship. Some men become deeply emotionally involved almost immediately. After only a short time, they begin expressing extremely strong feelings. They might send long emotional messages, talk about the future, or make big promises before the connection has even developed properly. Imagine going on 2 or 3 dates with someone and suddenly hearing something like, "I've never felt this way about anyone before," or "I would do anything for you." For many people, that level of intensity can feel overwhelming. Attraction normally develops gradually. Two people spend time together. They learn about each other. Trust grows slowly. But when someone tries to rush that process, it can create pressure. And pressure often pushes people away. It can feel like the relationship is moving faster than the emotional connection itself. Many nice guys behave this way because they fear losing the opportunity. They think that showing maximum effort immediately will secure the relationship. But ironically, that urgency sometimes becomes the very reason the attraction disappears. Another critical piece of the puzzle is boundaries. Many nice guys struggle to set them. They tolerate behavior that bothers them. They ignore red flags. They stay silent when they feel disrespected. The reason is simple. They don't want to create conflict. They believe that if they remain agreeable and accommodating, everything will eventually work out. But boundaries are strongly connected to self-respect. When someone never says no, never pushes back, and never expresses their own standards, it can send a subtle message. It suggests that they value the other person's approval more than their own well-being. On the other hand, someone who calmly expresses their boundaries communicates something very different. They show that they respect themselves. They show that they have standards. And they demonstrate that they're willing to walk away from situations that aren't healthy for them. That kind of self-respect often makes a person more attractive, not less, because it shows emotional strength and stability. So what does all of this mean in the end? Does it mean that men should stop being kind, caring, and respectful? Not at all. Kindness is still one of the most important qualities in any meaningful relationship. But kindness works best when it exists alongside other qualities: confidence, self-respect, independence, purpose. A man who respects others while also respecting himself creates a very different presence than someone who is constantly seeking approval. He doesn't chase validation. He doesn't sacrifice his identity just to impress someone. He simply shows up as himself, with his own goals, opinions, and boundaries. And when someone interacts from that place, attraction often develops much more naturally. So, if you've ever been called a nice guy and felt confused about why things didn't work out, it might not have been your kindness that caused the problem. It might have been the way that kindness was combined with insecurity, overinvestment, or lack of boundaries. The goal isn't to become less kind. The goal is to become balanced. Someone who is thoughtful, but also confident. Someone who is respectful, but also self-assured. Someone who cares about others, but never forgets to value themselves. And once that balance begins to develop, relationships often start to feel different. Interactions become more natural, and attraction, instead of feeling confusing, starts to make a lot more sense.